Hi there, and welcome to my Giddy Up mod showcase. I'm Icon, and this video will present to you all the necessary information about this mod so you can decide if you want to like it or not. To me, it's one of my personal favorite mods in the game, and I think it adds a lot of depth and versatility in the game. And if you're new to it, in a nutshell, this mod suit enables you to ride animals in the game. So first of all, we're going to have a look at it in the menu. The Giddy Up mod pack is consisting out of a core mod and several modules. That's the first thing I want to talk about, basically. So you need the Hugslib mod, and apart from that, the core mod doesn't do anything on its own. It's basically the bootstrap for all the others. So there's 3 different parts of the Giddy Up mod suit. That's ride and roll. That's giving your colonists the option to ride animals in general. There's battle mounts, which enables colonists to use riding mounts while they are drafted. And there's also the Caravan mod, which enables your colonists to ride the animals during a caravanneering situation. The animal saddles add-on is just merely cosmetic, and I wanted to showcase it as well. So let's get back into the colony, and I'm going to talk first about how you handle it mechanically, and then we're going to talk about the configurations that are possible. So it's pretty simple. Animals can be used as mounts as soon as they're tamed enough. I think, if I remember correctly, you need to have the guard training. Like here, this alpaca can be used as a mount, but it's not there yet. So let's see. Fugly is trying to train it right now. Not sure if he's going to succeed, but trained guard and wonderful. Perfect example, not even planned. So as you noticed here, maybe now the guard has been completely trained, and what happened now here is you have these columns new. So first up is can be automatically mounted by master and can be automatically mounted by any pawn. This wasn't these checkboxes weren't here before that, so once these checkboxes show up, can ride the animal, and this mark here designates if it's by default a mount your colonists will use during their everyday routine. It looks like that. If you want to mount a eligible animal, you just select somebody, and then you get this new point here, mount alpaca 1, and then Fugly is 1 moment later riding the alpaca, and this does several things. First up, his move speed increases because he inherits basically the move speed of the alpaca, and in case of combat, Fugly would also have melee attacks from himself and the alpaca at the same time. Pretty strong. So if you ride some really nasty combat animal, you can use the animal and the rider as a melee weapon. So that's the first thing you can do. So if you draft your people, and that's part of the battle mounts mod pack. So it's here, and here Fugly can now also use the mount in combat. That's part of the battle mount mod suite. So as you notice here, Fugly is staying on it, on the alpaca, just like he wants to. But if you decide you don't want to have this person on the mount, you can just select the colonists in case, and there's the dismount order, and then they just dismount the animal. That's the basics of how to use it. Also, as you might have noticed here, we can also ride wargs. That's a little bit weird because I personally would agree with riding a warg, but there are several animals which are actually too small to ride them, but in the standard configuration of the mod, you can ride them. We're going to talk about that later in the configuration. So that's basically all you need to know to mount them. You select this, then you got some nice mount, and check out the speed difference. The warg is way quicker, and if you happen to catch some do I have some here, some horses. These are awesome, like 5.8 cells per second, really good. Gives you a nasty advantage in combat, but keep in mind your enemies will use mounts as well. So this is how this mod balances itself. Every piece of candy you get, the enemies get as well. So I think I covered up the battle mounts and other stuff quite well. There's one more thing I want to talk about, and that's new zone designations you can place. So there's new to this is a place a NPC mount spot. That's where your NPCs drop off their mounts. That's really useful when you got these caravans and you don't want their animals littering all the place. You can order one spot here to here. Mounts will stay near the drop-off point until their rider returns. This way you can park the animals somewhere, and of course you can clear that out, but you can only clear that out with the necessary spots here. And you can create a forbid riding area. So inside this zone, nobody will use this mount. Also very useful if you don't want your people to ride into your homes, for example. I guess the uses are pretty straightforward. And last but not least, you get the mount drop spot for your own people, of course. So that's also a way to make sure that your people will drop off the mount at some point. This is, for some bases, more important than others. I gotta admit, most of the time I don't use these designators, even though I got the mod running a lot. But if you really want to keep your base neat and tidy, these zone designators are way to go. And now we get into the next part of the Giddy Up mod suite, and that's the Caravan menu. That's one of my favorites. So not only does the mod enable you to use your animals on the map, that's the module's battle mounts and ride and roll, but the Caravans module enables you also to use your animals as riding animals. So that's really what I like. And let's see. There we go. We got 3 people on the Caravan, and you see here movement speed will change accordingly. And once everybody is on a mount, the moving speed increases very, very much. And the faster the mount, the faster the Caravan, of course. But keep in mind, here the carrying capacity of the alpaca got negated the moment it has a rider. So you won't be able to use them as pack animals anymore if you do that. Very important. But apart from that, it's already everything has been explained. So you can just plan the route, send them to go, and that's all you need to do. That's all you need to know about the Giddy Up Caravan mod to use it. It's really awesome, and it speeds up your caravans, and it always bothered me so much that there are things like buffaloes, alpacas, dromedaries in the game, and they are not really meaningful speeding up your caravans. Not anymore. So that's how you use the mod in general. It's really not much more than that. To ride animals, I'll summarize it shortly. To ride animals, you need to have at least the guard skill enabled, and of course the animal needs to have the necessary trainability. Here you can designate if people can automatically mount the animal in question. Disable that if you have particularly slow animals or animals you don't want to have as a mount. I really disable that on every animal which is slower than my colonist himself, because I don't see the reason. Because they will mount, because they love to ride, I don't know. So that's how you use that. And to mount and dismount, one more time, just to make sure it really got showcased properly. Drafted movement is part of the battle mounts thing, and undrafted movement is part of the ride and roll module. And to undraft, you go for this mount. Okay, that's that. So in the mod settings, we can configure this mod suite accordingly. So I'm going to go through it part for part. Let's go into the core mod first. The core mod is giving you several different configuration options. So first up, I want to talk about these things. So movement impact per animal handling level. This is really interesting to know. So the better you're handling, the quicker you can ride, but it's also in the negative way. So here we lose 2.5% per level below the necessary animal handling skill. So let's say the animal needs a skill of 8 and my rider has only a skill of 4. That's 4 levels too less. He loses 10% movement. But if he is level 12 and the animal in question is level 8, needed animal handling skill, he'll gain 10% movement speed. That's really powerful. You can adjust that as you want to. There's also a built-in accuracy penalty for mounted people. So like when you're riding, you're shooting worse. And of course, this accuracy impact gets it's the same mechanism like here, like I explained with the movement impact, but just with 0.5% per. So this makes the gun kiting strategy a lot less effective, and if you feel like that's too cheesy for you, you can amp up the penalty just as you decide to. Next up is the question, which animals should be mounted. We can filter that by body size, and I strongly recommend you to put this to at least 1, because if we have that at 0.8, I'll show you what happens there. So if the necessary body size of the animal is 0.8, you can also write weird things like let's check it out. A husky, for example. No grown-up person can ride a husky. Don't tell me this. And yeah, they are, especially or a lynx. That's also complete nonsense. So therefore, if you put it up to 1.0, you notice there's a lot less unrealistic candidates in there. Bison, caribou, cougar. Well, the cougar is a little bit niche, but you can also exclude them manually if they bother you. Strongly recommend you to use that feature here. And also there's the drawing options. This is necessary, not necessary at all. This is just a visual thing. If any mounting procedure bothers you visually, you can hear whatever. It's not really a thing. If you're bothered by any animations, you can change the way the colonist is. Try it out. I don't think it's important at all. It's just a visual thing. So next up, I want to talk about the ride and roll configuration. So here goes a very simple suite. So minimum distance for auto mounting. That defines how far away the animal can be for the auto mount, and basically what this setting is for is that you can define that your people will stop walking to an animal which is let's say your animal is here and your colonist is here. This setting prevents this fool from walking all the way over here to mount his animal. You can reduce this setting only if you want to. Well, I don't think you need to fiddle around with these default settings. Only do that if you have a certain plan in mind which really needs that. I couldn't come up with one right now. Standard settings here are really good. Next up is the battle mounts thing. The configurations here almost only, or well, they only reflect the enemy chances of having battle mounts themselves. I really like that because, well, if you want some challenge, amp that up by a few %, because mounted enemies also mean that you can try out how it is to fight against your own weapons. I like that. So if it's too easy for you and you feel like your enemies should have more mounts or less mounts because they bother you and you want that power all alone, you find it there. So last but not least, we got the Caravan configurations, and those are by far the most complicated ones, but I like them also a lot. So here is the amount of bonus the Caravan speed gets if all colonists are riding, and the max bonus if not all colonists are riding. Like, to explain it real quick, if 4 people are on the Caravan, 2 are riding, 2 are not. The Caravan can only be sped up by 25% of their speed and not much more. And friendly NPC mount chance, that's the chance if friendly NPCs are mounted or not, and that's for tribals. That defines where the animals come from. Like from my biome 70% of the time, and any biome 15% of the time, and non-wild friendly NPC. What's that? You don't even know what category that is. But you notice there you can configure how exotic the animals should be. If you really don't want to have any exotic animals on the enemies or friendlies, you can configure that in the battle mounts and the Caravan thing. And that sums it up. I really love this mod for its versatility and immersion, because come on, there are so many rideable animals. It's the 56th century. Don't tell me that these people don't know how to ride anymore. I hope this explanation suite here helped you to know how this mod works and find out if you really want to play it or not. Whatever it was, drop me a comment down below. I hope it was helpful. Feel free to leave a like or a subscribe if you like that kind of content. You'll find plenty of that more in my YouTube channel. You also find all the things necessary for the mod in the link in the description below. I have listed all the necessary modules and mods used section. All right, friends, so I hope that you will come again, and take care and goodbye.